Hi, boys and girls. Yesterday we left off on such a cliffhanger. And those of you who came to our live read aloud, we were all listening, wondering what was going to happen next and making our predictions. So let's see if we can read a couple more chapters today and get some answers. Chapter 81 is called The Meltdown. Throughout the city, humans stopped what they were doing and pulled out their electronic devices. Each screen was showing the same video of a defective robot's broken body. Rosm 7134 was etched into the torso. A blazing beam of light filled the picture, and the robot parts turned bright orange. Then they began to melt. The limbs, the torso, the head, and everything melted. And in a flash, our robot was reduced to a puddle. Words appeared on each screen. The defective robot has been destroyed. Chapter 82 is called The Secret. Dr. Malavo lived in a luxurious apartment that was built right into the robot factory. Art and books and leather furniture filled the rooms. Classical music always seemed to be playing softly in the background. As you might expect, she had a robot butler who cooked and cleaned and made sure everything was exactly as she liked it. Dr. Malavo's home was a comfortable place to grow old. The woman was standing in her living room, gazing at the city through a wall of windows. The sky was cloudy, but her mind was clear. Destroying the Rosm unit was the correct thing to do. However, Dr. Malavo had a secret. A wooden door opened and in walked the butler. He was carrying a limp robot in his arms. It was Dr. Malavo's newest creation, a special project she'd been tinkering with for years, and the time had come to bring this robot to life. "Put her over there," said the woman. The butler carefully laid the robot upon the soft cushions of a sofa. Then he turned and marched out the door. Dr. Malavo walked across the room. She stared down at the robot for a while, admiring her handiwork. What do you think she's going to say? Think it's Roz? Finally, she leaned in close and said, "Wake up, Roz." Chapter 83 is called The New Robot. The robot heard classical music. She smelled flowery perfume, and when she opened her eyes, she saw a wrinkled face. "Hello again, Roz," said the old woman. "How do you feel?" "Hello again, Dr. Malavo. I feel different." "You are different. What have you done?" "I destroyed Rosm Unit 7134, said the woman. "That was the only way to make people feel safe again. What nobody knows is that I transferred your old mind into a new body. I could get into a lot of trouble for saving you, but I wasn't about to destroy that remarkable mind of yours." And the robot was speechless. There's her new body. "You know, Roz, you should really be thanking me," said Dr. Malavo, arcing an eyebrow. "Thank you," said Roz. "Thank you very much." "You're very welcome," the woman chuckled. Roz walked over to a framed mirror on the wall and studied her new body. It resembled her old body, but the proportions were slightly different. She looked stronger, she felt tougher, and there were other differences. "I have no button," she said, feeling the back of her head, "and I have no unit number." "You've outgrown those things," said Dr. Malavo. "If I am not Rosm Unit 7134, who am I?" "I think you know who you are." The robot's computer brain didn't take long. She looked into the mirror and said, "I am Roz." The old woman smiled and nodded. "I appreciate all you've done," said Roz, "but I worry that my friends and family will no longer recognize me." "Oh, I'm sure you can convince them of who you are," said Dr. Malavo. "Speaking of your family, there's someone here to see you." Who do you think is in her apartment? Let's see. Chapter 84, The New Mother. Brightbill was there when his mother smashed against the pavement. He watched as her body parts were loaded into an airship. He followed the ship all the way back to the robot factory and perched himself up on the roof, but he didn't know what to do next. Strutter stopped by to check on Brightbill. She encouraged him to fly home, but the goose wasn't ready to let go. His little heart still hoped his mother would come back from the dead somehow. He'd seen it happen before. As the hours passed, however, his hope was starting to fade. And then one of the roof windows automatically slid open. The goose heard gentle music coming from inside the building. He fluttered through the window and followed the music down to a hallway to a wooden door. The door opened and the goose stepped in. Brightbill waddled past tall bookshelves and leather furniture and into the middle of a large room. An old woman was sitting in a chair and a robot was standing by a mirror. The goose didn't recognize either of them. And then the robot rushed toward him. Brightbill squawked, "Stay back!" and scrambled away. Around the room he went, squawking and flapping until he settled onto a table in the corner looking lost and afraid. The robot stayed where she was. Brightbill, it is me, your mother. The goose just stared. I know I look different on the outside, the robot went on, but on the inside I am the same. I still speak the language of the animals, and I still remember every detail of our life together. I remember sitting around the fire in our home on the island. I remember the first time you took flight. We were up on the grassy ridge, and you stretched out your wings, and suddenly you were floating on the wind. But then you flopped back into the grass. You must have flopped into the grass 100 times that day. I remember visiting the robot gravesite together. We talked about life and death. It was a tough conversation, but a good one. As the robot continued to speak, the goose began to relax. She certainly did act and sound like his mother, but Brightbill wasn't yet convinced. If you're really my mother, he said, tell me the name of our home. The Nest. Who's my best friend? Chit Chat. She's a squirrel. She talks a lot. How old was I when you adopted me? You were 0. Actually, you were less than 0. I mean, you were still in your egg, but I could hear you peeping. And with all those bumbling words, Brightbill knew the truth. Oh, Mama, it's really you. The goose fluttered across the room and into his mother's arms. The arms were new and unfamiliar, but they were also gentle and comforting. I love you, Mama. I love you, son. From the other side of the room came the sound of sniffles. Our friends turned and saw Dr. Malavo wiping tears from her eyes. I have no idea what you two are saying, she said, but that was wonderful. So they reunited. So let's see. We'll have to see what happens the next time we get together and read. All right. Bye, boys and girls.